morning, everyone, and happy Friday! You guys made it through another week of remote learning, so make sure you give yourself a pat on the back, and maybe you can even kiss your brain, because you have been working so super hard, and remember, we are so proud of all of the work that you're doing. Hey, should we start the day with our Friday cheer? I think we should. Here we go. Are you ready? It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday, woo! And maybe we can do one of our cheers together. The last one we did was a bubblegum cheer. How about we do, should we do a hamburger cheer? Are you ready? Here, get out your hamburger. Put it on the grill. Is it done? Not yet. Is it done? Not yet. Is it done? Well done. Nice job, my friends. I miss doing that with you, but as long as we can keep doing it with these videos, that's okay with me for now. All right, my friends, today we are going to be reading a book called A Chair for My Mother. Have you ever read this book before? It's a great book. And I see that this book won an award. It must be an awesome book. Are you ready to take a listen? Here we go. This book is written and illustrated by Vera Williams. A Chair for My Mother. My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tile Diner. After school, sometimes I go to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me a job too. I wash the salt and pepper shakers and fill the ketchups. One time, I peeled all the onions for the onion soup. When I finish, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me. And every time, I put half of my money into a jar. Do you have a jar or a piggy bank where you save money? It takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips of her purse for me to count. Then we push all of the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired she falls asleep. Some days she has a lot of tips. Some days she only has a little. Then she looks worried. But each evening, every single shiny coin goes into the jar. It's important to save your money. When we sit in the kitchen to count the tips, usually Grandma sits with us too. While we count, she likes to hum. Often, she has money in her old leather wallet. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas or something she buys, she puts by the savings and they go into the jar. And there's Mama so sleepy from work. She must be a hard worker. When we can't get a single other coin into the jar, we are going to take out all of the money and go buy a chair. Yes, a chair. A wonderful, beautiful, fat, soft armchair. We will get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We're going to get the best chair in the whole world. That is because our chair is burned up. There was a big fire in our other house. All of our chairs burned. So did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had new pumps. We were walking from our house to the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked red tulips, and I was saying I liked the yellow ones. Then we came to our block. Have you seen any tulips blooming around you? They're beautiful. Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see a lot of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida Ida waved and shouted, "She's here! She's here! She's okay, don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled. Spoiled is another word for ruined. How sad. It was a house fire. What was left of the house was turned to charcoal and ashes. We went to stay with my mother's sister, Aunt Ida, and Uncle Sandy. Then we were able to move into the apartment downstairs. We painted the walls yellow. The floors were shiny, but the rooms were empty. How sad. So scary. The first day we moved in, the neighbors brought pizza, cake, and ice cream. And they brought a lot of other things too. The family across the street brought a table and 3 kitchen chairs. The very old man next door gave us a bed from when his children were little. My other grandpa brought us a beautiful rug. My mother's other sister, Sally, had made us red and white curtains. Mama's boss, Josephine, brought pots and pans, silverware and dishes. My cousins brought me her own stuffed bear. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. "You are all the kindest people," she said, "and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and can start all over." Isn't that amazing how everyone from the community was able to give them things so they could start over again? That's why it's so important to be kind and think of other people. Think of how happy it made them. That was last year, but we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurt. "There is no good place for me to take a load off my feet," she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut up potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that is how come Mama brought home the biggest jar she could find at the diner. And all of the coins started to go into the jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift down. Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. Their jar is almost filled. Hopefully soon they'll be able to get a nice comfy chair. After supper, Mama and Grandma and I stood in front of the jar. "Well, I would have never believed it, but I guess it's full," Mama said. My mother brought home little paper wrappers for the nickels and dimes and quarters. I counted them all out and wrapped them up. On my Mother's Day off, we took all of the coins to the bank. The bank exchanged them for $10 bills. Then we took the bus downtown to shop for our chair. See how important it is to save your money? We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and smaller ones, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and harder ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks in the 3 Bears, trying out all of the chairs. We know that book. Finally, we found the chair we were all dreaming of, and the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy. They came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we couldn't wait for it to be delivered. Which chair do you think they bought? The blue one or the red one? Or any of the ones back here? Which one do you think they bought? Which one would you want? This one looks really comfy to me. I tried out our chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it while we carried it up to the door. So they chose the one with the flowers all over it. Wow! We set the chair right beside the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I all sat in it while Aunt Ida took our picture. Now Grandma sits in it and talks with people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches the news on TV when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit with her and she can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap. The end. And here's a picture of the mom and the grandma and the daughter sitting in the big comfy chair. Wow, that was such an awesome story, my friends. Although it had some sad parts, it had a really happy ending where they were able to save enough money to get a nice, comfy chair. I hope that you guys either have a piggy bank or a jar where you can save some money. It's very important to save your money, so maybe one day you can buy something special, either for you or someone you love. That would be so super kind, just like the main character in this story did. My friends, I hope you enjoyed reading A Chair for My Mother with me. Until next time, I will see you guys very, very soon.